Let's head towards the terrace. After continuing on through the passage for a while, the terrace comes into view on the right. I take a deep breath of the fresh evening air, hoping to calm my senses. Let's continue on through the passageway, though. We make our way down the dimly lit passageway. After a few moments, we come to an old, dusty door on the right. Kid quietly presses her ear against the door. Quiet as a church mouse. No one's there, mate. Let's open the door and see if that's true. What's with all this junk? Must be a storeroom or something. It seems like this is the inner mechanics of a clock tower. However, the gears look old and rusted, and cogs are spinning randomly without connecting up with their proper teeth. I doubt the clock is still in use today. The room seems to be currently used as a storage area. A large object catches my attention off in the far corner of the room. It's too dark over there to see what it is, though. Do not touch anything out of the ordinary, Magil says abruptly, sending a sudden shock down my spine. However, just as he says this, I see Kid emerge from the shadows, dragging the large object out in the middle of the room. It's a large antique sword of some kind. We've got no use for that old thing, Kid. All it'll do is slow us down. Besides, we probably won't even get much money for it. I reckon it's worth a lot to the right buyer, like an antique collector or somebody. Sulking Kid quietly lays the sword down. What do you want? I look around, startled. That was definitely not any of our voices. Kid and Macho immediately take position, focusing their attention towards the source of the voice. Who's there? A figure suddenly appears out of the darkness. It seems to be a short old woman with a large hood over her head. Although fully covered, it's quite obvious she's quite old. It's just some old hag, Kid says. Magil's sharp gaze on the woman remains unchanged, however. What an energetic young lady. You haven't come here this late in the evening to drop in on some friends, I imagine. I glance at Kid. Perhaps you have some score to settle with Master Lynx? My heart jumps. This is definitely not good. Will she warn the rest of them about us? Let's tell the truth, anyway. Kid's eyes narrow. If we did have a score to settle with that bastard, what's it to you? Just as I expected. The old woman cackles in amusement. Children, they're always so interesting like that. So imaginative, yet so predictable. What are you talking about, old lady? Oh, it's already been 4 or 5 years, I would gather. According to what I was told, one night a young thief came to the manor looking for trouble. The thief was a little girl, about 10 years old. Surprised, I glance at Kid. There's a trace of an ice-like radiance in her eyes. Staring at her makes me feel like it's suddenly dropped below freezing in here. Unfazed, the old woman continues her story. The girl was an orphan. She set off to face Master Lynx all alone, hoping to avenge the girl who had cared for her like a big sister. But after all, she was all alone. Outnumbered and overpowered, she was eventually defeated and captured by Master Lynx's henchmen. As an ally, Master Lynx can be quite an asset. However, as an enemy, he can be one of the most fearsome men alive. If not for a friend who sneaked in and secretly rescued her, she would surely have perished. From what I heard, this mysterious figure who could allegedly slip in and out the shadows was the subject of many whispers throughout the manor long after this incident had come to pass. Not moving a muscle, I tried to look for Magil. He's nowhere to be seen. I can only guess he's sporting one of those trademark expressionless faces somewhere off in the darkness. The inhabitants of Viper Manor don't condemn the unfortunate, because no one can win all the time. However, from time to time, the goddess of fate has been known to cast down those who have too much luck, throwing the cogs of time out of order. It is not wise to try and stand against fate, continuing to repeat one's mistakes time and time again. The old woman continues, staring straight at Kid, smiling sweetly. If you want to steal Joel, and if you really want to beat him, you too must give up your most valued possession, Kid. As long as you cling on to it, the hands of your clock will never budge. They'll stay frozen and trapped in the distant past. Who the bloody hell is this old hag? Me? Oh, I'm just an old lady. Pay me no mind. Thank you for listening to this old maid for such a long time. I certainly hope I haven't delayed you at all. But before you leave, which one of you... With that, the old woman looks in my direction. Ah, yes. You look like you've got a bit of scrape there. Won't you let me let a look at it? What should I do? I don't know whether to be petrified or comforted by all this. Yes, please do, ma'am. The old woman clasps her hands together, bowing her head. She mumbles a few words in a low tone. Suddenly, a gentle pale blue light surrounds my body, filling me with a strange warmth. Wow, look at that. My wounds are being healed before my eyes. It feels as though there's some sort of soft music being played all around me, putting me in a strange serenity. When I come around, the woman is gone. Hello? Lady? Says Kid, relentlessly looking around. However, there's no trace of her. All signs of her presence are gone. Wonder what was up with that old hag. Looking around, I can't help but wonder what she was talking about, with all that talk about her prized possession and everything. Let's get our arses out of here. This place is giving me the creeps, says Kid all of a sudden, already heading for the door. Hey, wait up! As I catch up with Kid, she gives me a friendly poke in the ribs. Ain't no fair. You were the only one who got healed. From here, the passageway stretches to the right and left. The right path continues on into the mansion, while heading left will take us to the terrace. Let's proceed to the right. Proceeding ahead on the path, we come to a staircase going up, and a firm-looking set of doors on the left. There better be treasure in here. The smells of gold thick in the air, mate. Let's go inside. Just as I thought. Locked, Kit says after jiggling the handle. Frustrated, she kicks the door. This might slow us down, but sure as bloody hell won't keep us out. Well, unless we find the key, there's nothing we can do, Kid. Let's get to it then. I bet Lynx has got it stashed up in his room somewhere, the bastard. Unable to do anything, we leave to look elsewhere. Let's proceed ahead up to the stairs. With Kid in the lead, we ascend this narrow staircase. The cracked stone stairs seem to be endlessly twisting upwards. It feels like we're heading up to a scaffold to be executed. Atop the staircase, an old but solid door waits for us silently. The damp place fills me with a feeling of dread. There's a faint voice coming from the other side of the door, says Kid. I fear the worst. Maybe we should check somewhere else, I say. What's the matter, you chicken? She says while glancing at me, but I can tell by the sound of her voice that she isn't feeling much better about this than I am. There's something wrong about this place, and we all know it. Let's open the door anyway. It's a small room, one you'd find in a stone tower. It's empty, and I can't find a single window in it. What the hell kind of room is this? Although she's trying to hide it, I notice a shiver running down Kid's spine. There may be something of use here. Let's search more closely, Magel says quietly. You really think we'll find something? Kid proceeds to the middle of the room while I examine the walls and floor. The stone floor is filled with countless scratches covered by splotches of dry, dark ink. Hey, Magel, would you please come over here? Something is carved into the wall here. I think it's an inscription of some sort. Magel kneels down in front of the wall and examines the writing. Looking closer at it, it appears to be written in blood. Indeed, this text has been worn down with age. Most of it is unreadable. Here's what I can make out. Won't last much longer. See it, dragoons. Need help and chat sore order to proof. Without any warning, the door slams shut. We stand up, taken by surprise. Then suddenly, a low rumbling starts to fill the room. What's happening? Kid shouts, looking around frantically. What's that above us? What now? There's no time to lose. Let's try to ram the door. Kid flies like an arrow, ramming against the door. Her small body bounces back. The door is far too heavy. Bollocks! Magel streaks across the room like a hurricane, dashing against the solid oak. The door creaks but holds tight. My turn. I ram into the door with all my strength. Ah! A heavy shock shoots through my body, but the door doesn't budge an inch. The rumbling continues to get louder and louder, reminding us of the rusty blades, eager to greet us. Serge, Magel, come on, together! The three of us start to ram against the door simultaneously with all our strength. The door hinge gives. We stumble outside, barely escaping certain death. Behind us, we hear the gut-wrenching sounds of the blades meeting the stone floor. I watch the morbid scene in a daze, grasping huge breaths of air. Finally, the grinding sounds fade away. It seems the ceiling has stopped. Damn that Lynx, toying with us like that.
So, this is the torture chamber. I wonder how many of the Anacia dragons it has claimed, Majo whispers. Who? I ask. The Acacia Dragoons. They were once an elite force serving General Viper, a powerful man who used to rule the western territory of Gerzabue. They were defeated more than 10 years ago by the very hands of Lord Lynx. By the looks of things, we've apparently found their resting place.
Who cares, says Kid as he stands up. Generals and knights and everything. It sounds like some old bedtime story.
Majo shrugs his shoulders in silence as we start down the stairs, eager to get away from this awful place.